Hello, my students, how are you? Let's revise our story. Our story is Life Cycle of a Pumpkin. We said that the genre of this story is expository text that tells facts and information about the pumpkins, right? So this story we will see the life cycle of the pumpkin, how the pumpkin is growing and changing. Okay? Here we start that saying that a pumpkin is a fruit. It has different types, different colors, and uh, different texture. If you touch it, it has different texture. Also, we said that there is deep lines goes from the top to the bottom. Okay. Here we said that a life cycle of a pumpkin starts with the seeds. Then the seeds grows what? As you can see here. Start with seeds. Then the seeds grows root and uh, seed leaves. These are the seed leaves. And here the real leaves. After the seed leaves has died. Then today we will take 10 week. The 10th week. What happens in 10th week? As you can see here, we have a flower. Then yellow flower. Then after the flower, do you remember when we said that small green pumpkin? Then it tries to become orange a little bit. Then orange and so big. Okay. So let's continue the reading. Here. The pumpkin vine glooms with many yellow flowers. As you can see, here's the flowers. Blooms means grew many flowers. Some of these are female flowers. So flowers as people. Some of the flowers female and others are males as us. Here, female flowers sit on small fuzzy green balls. Can you see here's the balls? So this is the balls for what? Here, for green, as you can see here. So these are the female what? Here, this one. The female flowers, and this is the male flowers. Okay? Here. Green balls, okay? Other flowers are what? Are male flowers. They are on long stems and have yellow powder inside it. Okay? Inside the flower of the male flower. Male, to remember, male. Male have what males flowers have? Powder, yellow powder. What we call this powder? Here. The yellow powder is pollen. The yellow powder is called what? Pollen. The yellow powder inside the male flower called pollen. What we call it? Pollen. What we call it? Pollen. Excellent. It takes a male and a female flower. Why? To make a pumpkin. So as human babies, so how a baby brought into life? Yes, we have a man and a woman, a female and a male. So then we have a baby. This is the same thing happens with a pumpkin. We need a female here, a male flower and a female flowers. Can you see here? Okay, let's move to the next page. It also takes bees and pumpkins to make pumpkins. So also we need bees to make the pumpkins. How? What is the job of bees? We will see here. Here, as you can see, the bees, they move the pollen. We said pollen is the yellow what? Powder, right? Where is the yellow powder from? Comes from the male flower. Move the pollen from male flowers to female flowers. When a bee visits the male flowers, the pollen sticks to the bee's body and legs. So here on the body of the bee, what sticks? Yes, excellent. The powder, the yellow powder, or we call it pollen. The pollen rubs off the bee and it goes in and out of the flowers. So now what will happen? The bee will fly to another flower, right? Then this is the way that the powder move or transfer from the male to the female flower. When the pollen reaches a female flower, what happens? Why we want the pollen, the yellow powder, to go to the female flower? The fuzzy green ball at the end of the flower begins to grow into what? Into a pumpkin. So here, this is the fuzzy green ball. Grows into what? A green small pumpkin. A small green what? Pumpkin. Then, here now we have growing and ripening. Late summer, at the end of the summer. Here, all summer, the vines, tendrils, and leaves of the plant grow and tangle together. So, go and connected to each other. Underneath means under. Here's we have the tree, okay? And this place underneath. Under what? Underneath. That the place that the sun keeps off what? Off the sun. The place that the tree keeps off from the sun. Underneath the big leaves are little pumpkins. Okay? The leaves are like big umbrellas. Can you see here? Like big umbrellas. What's the job of these leaves? Why they are big? Why they look like umbrella? Let's see. They keep the hot sun off the pumpkins. So now it's hot. It's summer. So if there is too much sun, what will happen? There will happen a problem. So these leaves keep the sun of the pumpkins. They also help to keep the soil around the pumpkins from drying out. So these leaves have two jobs. The first one, to keep the hot sun of the pumpkins. So let's make it with yellow. To keep the hot sun out of the pumpkins. Also, to keep the soil around, to keep the soil from drying out. So if the hot sun, like too much hot sun on the pumpkin and on the soil, the soil will be without water. It will dry. There will be no water in the soil. So the pumpkin will die. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created big leaves as umbrellas to protect the soil from drying out and to protect the pumpkin itself. Okay? Here. Now we have some problems here, as you can see, problems for pumpkins. we are humans that sometimes we get sick, right? The same thing happens to the what? To the pumpkin. Sometimes it has some problems. The first problem here. Let's see the first problem. Growing pumpkins need just the right amount of water and sun. The first problem is number 1. Too much rain rots the pumpkin. Let the pumpkin rotten. Do you remember the word rotten? If something is spoiled, it's not good for eating, it will be rotten, or it rots by something else. So remember, when you put an apple outside of the refrigerator for maybe 3 or 5 weeks, what will happen for this apple? It will become what? Rotten, right? So too much rain, if there's a lot of rain, it will become rotten. If there's number 2, if there's too much sun, too much sun, what will happen? Weathers the vine. Here, as you can see in this picture, here the vine is weathered. So here's the sun, hot sun, weathers what? The vine. Let it die. Okay? So here we have number 1, too much rain and too much sun. Also we have number 3, some problems. Cucumber beetles. It's a type of bugs. And also here squid bugs can hurt pumpkins too. So what will happen if there's bugs and insects comes over the pumpkin and eat some of it? It will be a problem, right? So here, what the farmers will do? Farmers spray the plant with insecticides or cover the vines with nets to protect the growing pumpkins. So there is 2 ways to let the bugs away from the pumpkins. The first is spray. Number 1, spray here. Number 1, spray the plant with insecticides. What is insecticides? Insecticide is like spray, like this. Farmers spray it over the pumpkins and the vines. Why? To let the insects, to let the bugs away from the plant. Okay. Number 2, they use nets to protect the growing pumpkins, to cover the pumpkin with the net, so an insect cannot come to the pumpkin. Okay. Here, harvest. What happens in the time of harvest? Actually, when the time of harvest is in fall. Harvest, we took this word. It means to gather the crops, gather the fruit, gather the vegetables, and so on. Here, the pumpkins grow bigger and bigger. Inside the pumpkin, what we have inside the pumpkin? The pumpkins form seeds and pulp. So here, to be clear, this is inside the pumpkin. What can we find? Here, first we can find seeds. And around the seeds, we have, can you see this orange? We call it bulb. Okay? Bulb. That protects the seeds. Okay? Here. Outside the pumpkins, what happens outside the pumpkins? Turn from green to what? To orange. Turns from green to orange. Then the vines turn brown. Here's the vines. Can you see this is the vine? What will happen? It turns brown. That means now it's good. It thrived. Harvest time has come. The farmer cuts the thick pumpkin stem from the vine. So this is the vine. This is the big vine and this is the big leaves. Okay, this is the big leaves. Here we have a pumpkin. It will become brown here. Then big pumpkin. Then what will happen? The man will come, the farmer will come and cut it. And cut what? The pumpkin, okay? Let's move to the next page. Here, after harvest, what happened after harvest? After they take the crops, we said late fall. At the end of the fall, what will happen here? As you can see in the picture, here we call it the wagon. We call it wagon. 4 months ago, there were only seeds. The seeds. After 4 months or 4 months later, what will happen? Now the farmer has harvested a wagon full of round orange pumpkins. So here you can see full of round orange pumpkins. They will be sold, the farmers will sell these pumpkins at a farm stand. At a farm stand and stores. So the farmer will sell the crops, will sell the pumpkins to the people. Here, people cook pumpkins. How people use pumpkins? They cook them and use the pulp. Why? To make pumpkin pie. As you see, this is the pie. Cookies, soup that we drink it, and bread. Some pumpkins are fed to farm animals, okay? Festival. At the end we have this festival. Some towns hold a pumpkin festival as party, okay? It means a party. Why? To celebrate the fall harvest. Sometimes there is a contest, competition. Contest here like a competition. It's not exactly a competition, but it's like the competition. Okay? Why this competition? To find out who grew the biggest pumpkin. So everyone is say that, oh, I grew the biggest pumpkin. Oh, and then all of them gathered together and decided which one is the biggest pumpkin. Inside the pumpkin are many seeds. Some seeds are roasted to be what? Eaten as a snack. So sometimes you take this seed from the store, we take it from Hyperbanda, Carrefour, and we like this, we eat it. And sometimes we watch a movie or television or we gather together. So this is the seeds that, here, can you see the seeds? Sometimes we eat it. Other seeds are saved to be planted in the spring. They will what? Grow into next year's pumpkins. So here, what they do with seeds, they have 2 ways. The first way is roast the seed as snack. Okay, the next one is to save it. To save seeds. Why? To be planted. To be planted. Okay? To be planted. Now, the next year, what will happen? We said that it's life cycle of pumpkin. So what will happen? It will repeat it the next year. It will be repeated the next year. Here, after the pumpkins are picked and sold, what happens? The farmers plows the field. Plows means to clean the field. Clean. The field also here means the farm. So he cleans the farm. Why? What he removed, what he put. So old vines and unpicked pumpkins get mixed with the soil. The field is ready for planting seeds.